Hey guys, this is Al with El Rey Collection, and I'm here today to continue my series of top 10 cards of the various decades. So we're all the way up to the 1940s, and the 1940s are obviously a really interesting time for the world given World War II. So that really limits the production of cards, especially cards and stickers in Europe. So you'll see, some certain Latin America influence here as we start to look at the top 10 cards from the 1940s. So without further ado, let's move the high-tech graphic off the screen. One of my favorite parts of the top 10 videos. And let's take a look at number 10. Number 10 is a 1942 Chocolatin Laponia Angel Labruna. Angel Labruna is one of the key members of the La Máquina. And we are, happy to present one of his first cards here. These Chocolatin Laponias are, tiny little discs. And this is one of his first cards. I love the check mark around, and each letter is in the offset color. So here you've got this white on the red and the red on the white. It just goes so good with the River Plate uniform. Cute little cards. Most of the Argentine cards, blank back, most of the Argentine cards are actually Pogs. That's the lineage in Argentina. So, I know it was hard for me to get used to, but as soon as you start seeing all of them, you find the beauty of the way that the Argentines used to collect. And I think that's one of the great things about collecting soccer, is respecting all these different cultures and what was normal and accepted in various countries. And that makes it so much easier to collect things that may not fit into your standard definitions of what's collectible, whether that's a sticker, a card, a pog, a triangle, but this one is just precious. I love it. Early card, number 10. There could be so many Argentine cards. I looked through them, and I probably went back 5 or 6 different times trying to think about different ones that I would potentially add to the list. I settled on this one. So you could settle on half a dozen others, and those would be more than acceptable in my eyes. The next one is a very, very rare and very cool sticker. It's from Leyendas Football, and it's from Cesar Rodriguez Alvarez, better known simply as Cesar. He was a Barcelona great for more than a decade. And here you have him in his 1941 loan to Granada. He was there for such a limited time. We're so blessed to have a copy of his card from here. There's some other cards, and it was really hard not to pick a Telmo Sada card from 1941. All of these are caricatures, and those just couldn't make the cut for me. This isn't about the best players. Obviously, I think Telmo Sada is the third highest scorer in the Liga? I think so, and the highest Spanish born player. You'd pick Telmo Sada as a better, more important player, but this particular sticker is just crazy beautiful, so unique, and very rare for my eyes, and at least in my collecting experience. And the fact, that he's on, I don't know if you can see up here, Granada Football Club, is just epic to me. So Cesar Rodriguez, blank backs on these. Cesar Rodriguez, otherwise known as Cesar, takes the number 9 position in my top 10 cards of the 1940s. So in the number 8 position, this is an interesting card because this set actually starts in the 1930s. This is the typically 1938 Der Kicker set, but as we've seen through the years, it looks like the last few cards were actually issued in 1940, and so this one makes the cut in the best cards of the 1940s. Obviously, epic player. For Germany, probably the most important German pre-war player, and in this case, it's actually like during the war and after the war. But he shows up on this beautiful De Kicker card with this really nice back. A lot of times, since they use rubber glue in Germany on these corners, you'll end up with a lot of glue, loss. This one is just, it's got a little bit of residue. It looks like no paper loss that I can see, but still, these are beautiful backs. And a beautiful font, and what is really a great set. It's got all of the stars, the Der Kicker set. So in number 8 position, this is probably one of the more important German cards pre 1950. Actually, even post. I'd probably say up until you get to the Bergmans with Beckenbauer's rookie, probably the most. I'll have to think about that. In number 7. We could pick a few different cards. This is a Dominguez de Guia card. I picked this one. The eye appeal is just amazing. This bright yellow popping off of it. It's a 1945 Americana. Balas Futebol. Americana, as most people know, is a very prolific issuer in Brazil. They'll ultimately have, in the 1950s, a ton of really important stickers, including from this same set, the 1957 Pele rookie. But so many very important Brazilian stickers are issued by Americana. Here, Dominguez de Guia, probably the best Brazilian defender until you talk about Nilton and Djalma Santos. So the first half of the 20th century, he's probably the best Brazilian defender. There's a few different cards of him, some in the 1930s as well. But this one, the eye appeal is just gorgeous, and any Dominguez de Guia card is tough. And look at these beautiful backs for Bales Futebol Americana. Just love these. Hard to not love this card, Dominguez de Guia. So we've got, one from Europe. We've got one from Spain. We've got 2 from South America. So in the number 6 spot, we're going back to Europe. And it's interesting to me that we're talking about, the cards that we've seen. So the European cards are actually from the Axis powers. And so this one is a Valentino Massola, amazingly epic player for Torino, and this is his, as far as I know, his rookie card, his first card from 1942, and it's just the tragic story of the airplane crash, but he was just an epic player through the 1940s, and this is his earliest card that I know of, and so very, very lucky to have this. And Valentino, ultimately, his son plays Sandro, but this is just an amazing card to my eyes, even in relatively low grade because of the scuffed back here. But Valentino Massola is epic card number 6, Epic Cardboard's number 6 card of the 1940s. Then, going back to number 5 is, again, a beautiful portrait of the famous Leonidas da Silva, highest score in the 1938 World Cup. Probably the most prolific striker from, the 30s to basically the 50s, with Zizino coming on at the end of the 40s. As kind of taking over for Leonidas, but he's credited with being one of the first to execute the bicycle kick, highest score of the 38 World Cup. Probably just one of the most important strikers in Brazilian history. He has some cards also from the 30s. I really, this one is just, beautiful. I like just the format of it, his smile, the closeness of his face, the really nice back. It just it's either this one or this is almost a tie for me. You can pick. I would take either one of these. This is a 1941. So either one of these Leonidas da Silva cards, and this is from A. Scamponani and Company in Sao Paulo, 1941. Album des Balas Futebol. And here's a Leonidas. So you can take your pick. I mean, basically, if you see a Leonidas card, you from these Brazilian stickers from the 1940s, you want to get it. I mean, he's just an epic player. If you're into vintage, at least, if you're in from cards from the 1940s, I really think you have to consider picking up some Leonidas da Silva cards. So in another way, in the number 4 position, I'm gonna put this card, and I wouldn't say that there's controversy about this card, but there has been some questions that people put out there about the validity of the Montecudine disc. Montecudine, it was a an after dinner drink. Lots of advertisements in POG format in the late 1940s. I'm not a real expert on this, but we bought all these old time collectors. We bought these probably 12 years ago, well before anything was really worth anything from a collecting standpoint. And there's just a massive set of these. There's tons of different versions, and recently some people have been calling into question whether they're valid. In fact, this even happened a few years ago. Someone alleges to have used some sort of testing technique that says the paper can't be from the 40s, that it's from the 70s. I really find this hard to believe. Maybe it's people just trying to pump something as a rookie card. I don't know. I find these to be kind of great collectibles. I'm in the testing business in my day job and would not know of which tests that would prove that these weren't that way. And given the massive checklist and when these were acquired, I tend to, find these, very quite cool. All these different versions. This is PSA actually has this as a white jersey. It's actually the red jersey. The white one's completely white. But if you don't want to have this one in the top 10 because of some of these questions that people are having, that's okay. I would take this out and I would substitute it. I think I will have the Montecudine in my top 10. But if you don't want to have that, then I'm actually gonna keep this one. Which is the Figuritas Titan, and since it comes out in 1949, it qualifies for the 1940s in my mind. And you can see here, it's really kind of light photograph. These are really poor quality in general, but you can see his face. It's clearly him, and it's Di Stefano, and it has a blank back, but very common set. Many players are in this set. And so if you had apprehension about the Montecudines, I'd put these Figuritas Titan in for the number 4 position. So in the number 3 position, I would put Laszlo Kubala. This is his rookie card from the Nanina series out of Italy. And, this is when he's playing for Bratislava. You can see this on the back. He only played there from 46 to 48. Nice back. These are hand cut just like the Puskas rookies off a strip. Just beautiful thing. He's got the scarf on. It's cold there. He's, in Hungary. And it's just beautiful card. And actually a really hard card to track down. So, that's one of the common things of my top 10 series. These aren't things you're going to turn on, eBay, do an eBay search and find 15 different options to get these. These are things that are typically going to come up, maybe once every couple years. So you got to keep your eyes out. You got to be diligent. You got to be a bit of a grinder to go after some of these cards. But I really think that these are just about as epic as they come. So, hopefully you guys would agree with me. So in the number 2 spot, I'm gonna put this just because of the amazing eye appeal. This is the 1949 Revancha, Alfredo Di Stefano. Again, he's in this just gorgeous hand cut item. This got an A because I think it's hand cut. It's not perfectly cut. This come out of a Revancha magazine, so similar to the Record. It's a magazine in Argentina. It's meant to be cut out, and here you go, Series A, number 7. It talks about him on a river plate. It's just the eye appeal of this, the clarity of his face, the youngness of it. This is one of my favorite stickers, and you probably could have foreseen this being towards the top of the list based on the border that I have in my in all of my videos, because this one's just so important to me. There have been a few graded. Actually, PSA grades this, and you can see if you look down at the bottom left hand corner of my videos, you'll see this exact card showing up in my video. So 1949 Revancha Alfredo Di Stefano makes the list at number 2. Does not quite dethrone what I think most people can probably see coming a mile away in the number 1 card of the 1940s. It is the ultra rare and super difficult Frederick Puskas rookie. This is happens to be, I believe, the highest graded one at PSA. These are hand cut again off these Nanina strips from Italy, and you just see a super young Puskas here. This is one of, to me, it's hard for me to not consider this one of the top cards in the entire hobby. I mean, not just the grade, but the player, the rarity, the importance. I mean, you're talking, most likely top 10 player, and I think the pop on this is probably 5 or less. I mean, I guess you can make the case on the Di Stefano, but the Revancha is not. It's actually even probably more difficult than the Puskas Nanina, but it is not his first card. There's actually, besides the Titan, which I showed you, I think there was a 1947 Arouk, which also doesn't have the best image of him as a player, but that's out there. So because it's not his first sticker or card, and because the Puskas is far and away a number of years by a number of years his first card, I think we gotta keep the Puskas in there. So that is the number 1 card of the 1940s, and I think when you just look at these cards, I'm just thankful that they're in the El Rey collection. Super hard to find, really special artifacts that I'm temporarily curating here while I walk on the earth, and hopefully these things will always be taken care of, because it's such a look back to important period of history of the world's greatest sport. So I hope you've enjoyed the top 10 of the 1940s, and if you have, you'll smash that like button, you'll subscribe. I'd really appreciate it. I'd love to get to 1,000 subscribers and have some people that are, a lot of people that really like this content, and maybe it's helpful for them to get their collection. This one isn't meant to be cards you can find very easily, but there's some Grail cards out there, and it's always good to have things that you're looking for that you can get, but also other aspirational cards, and hopefully 1, 2, 3 or more of these cards make it on your aspirational list, and I hope that you find those in 2022 or beyond. So thanks again for watching, and we'll see you next time on Epic Cardboard and El Rey Collection.